Welcome back to TEC Tube. I am Ryan Hoger and I will be your tour guide on this series for the new ion control. So the ion control replaces the old observer control. It's a much nicer touchscreen, right? Obviously right now it's plain because it's not powered up, but we'll get it powered up. We're going to install it on a modulating gas furnace and a variable speed air conditioner, go through the startup process with you guys, and then we'll go through all the individual service settings too to make sure you know how to set everything up, including the secret service settings. So let's head out into the lab and get started. All right, here we are at our furnace. We already got the thermostat wired up just to make things go a little bit faster here for the video. There's actually 6 terminals on this thermostat. We're only using 4 of them in most applications. So we're using the color-coded ones. There's a C and a D that are white and red. That's for 24-volt power, and that's going down to the furnace circuit board, also wired to C and D on that. And then we have green, DX plus, and yellow, DX minus. Those are the communicating signals, and those are also going down to the furnace as well. So those 4 wires are going from the stat down to the furnace, and then out of that same terminal on the furnace out to the condensing unit or heat pump. The other 2 on top, S1 and S2, that's if I want to have an optional remote room sensor, which I do not have in this case, so we did not wire it. I'm going to put the stat on and turn on power for the furnace. As we go through its startup process. So what it's going to do is initially power up, do its normal startup sequence like any electronic thing would do. Then it's going to send out a communication signal to try to find the indoor unit. So it sends out a signal on the D wires and says, hey, is anybody out there an indoor unit? Meaning if you're a furnace that communicates, or if you're a fan coil / air handler that communicates, you'll come back and give your information to the stat. Tell it your model and serial number and all of that. Then it's going to go look for an outdoor unit. Right, and it'll look for that guy. And if you're a communicating outdoor unit, meaning AC or heat pump, it'll gather up your model number and serial number information and bring that back to the stat. Now in this case, it is also asking us for the evaporator model number. It's asking us that on some systems and not on others, because if it's a inverter-driven outdoor unit, it needs to know the evaporator model number so it knows the volume of refrigerant the whole system will hold. And it's asking us to fill it in because the evaporator is not communicating, there's no electronics, so there's no way to interrogate it and ask. Right, so we have END 4X24L. So if I find an END, or EN star, which is a placeholder 4X24, END, all right, so I can hit more. END 4X24. Should be like the last one. Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. I did miss it. Okay. So END 4X24. Select. Now it's looking for a SAM module. That's not a very common accessory. In fact, you will never see one ever. So we're not going to talk about that. It's looking for a zoning board. This panel or this control system does not yet have a zoning panel accessory. There will be one. So when that accessory comes out, the stat has to be able to work with that. So that's why it's looking for it now. All right, and it's going to ask me a few basic startup questions before I actually can go in and tweak things. So the first thing is, what kind of filter do you have? Do you have a regular standard air filter, a media filter, a 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch air filter? Do you have an electronic air cleaner? Or do you have an air purifier, an ICP branded air purifier? Or if you happen to have the Honeywell True Clean air purifier, it would also be in the same category. Or a Bryant or Carrier one would be in the same category. So whatever they got on this furnace, if it's a air purifier, I'd pick that. Otherwise, I'd pick a regular air filter. We happen to have an air purifier, so I'm going to select that. Do you have a humidifier, yes or no? I don't actually have one, but I'm going to lie for today's purposes, just for demo. Do you have UV light? I do not have one, but I'm also going to lie for the demo purpose, so I can see more stuff. And then it's going to give me a report of everything going on with this system. I got a G9 MAE, which is a modulating gas furnace, 60,000 BTU, 17-inch wide cabinet. I got a CVA 924, which is a 5-stage inverter-driven condensing unit, my evaporator coil, air purifier, UV light, humidifier, etc. If it's all good, I hit next. If it's not, I press reinstall. So next. Now let's do its very first airflow verification test. So what this thing does is runs the variable speed indoor blower fan at multiple speeds, and in each of those, it's going to actually measure the airflow. So every variable speed furnace is measuring airflow, and then it's trying to achieve a certain airflow for a certain mode, right? Whereas a regular PSC or even a nice ECM motor goes to a specific speed. A variable speed furnace doesn't do that. It goes to a specific CFM. So in order to do that, it needs to know the CFM. So you can hear it ramping up right now. So what it does is it actually takes a tachometer reading of the motor while it's spinning the shaft. It temporarily disengages the shaft from the motor, which causes the motor to not spin quite as much, or cause the blower to not spin quite as much. And the rate at which it slows down is a function of the back pressure on the duct system. So dirty filter, restricted duct work, whatever it's going to be. So the speed at which it slows down is hence measured, and that's how the system is calculating the CFM, the static, and all that stuff. The one thing this does different from other manufacturers' variable speed furnaces is in those cases their furnace motor knows that and it adjusts accordingly, and this one does that too, but then it also sends that data and information back to us at the thermostat. So the thermostat is going to come back and tell me what the static, the CFM, and RPM is. Other manufacturers aren't going to be able to do that. There's only very few limited that have that skill set built into their products. So we'll give this a few seconds here to let that finish out. All right, so our airflow verification test is complete. So in this case, the full CFM is 906. Static pressure is 0.56. We don't have a ton of duct work on here. We do have some restrictors up top, which you can't see it right now. We throttle things back when we're doing other stuff in the lab. But it's pretty low static, obviously, because it's a lab. Our blower RPM is 895, and our calculated minimum CFM is 300. That will come into play quite a bit when this system has a zoning panel associated with it, because it'll be bypass-free zoning, and we'll need to know how far we can throttle things back. So then we'll press next. We're back over to the main screen. Right from here, we're ready to rock. We can do normal consumer type stuff. So you can change set points up and down on heating and cooling, right? That kind of thing. And then it'll ask you how long you want to override that for. You can up top here see what your fan speed is. You can click on that and change it. So if you're in continuous fan, you can pick low, medium, high, or auto. You can also see what your humidity is, 48% in this case, and then whether you're connected to the internet, which we are not because we just put this thing on and we haven't hooked it up to the internet yet, right? Up on the top right, you got your mode, heat, cool, fan only, off, right? You can also add an auto mode, which we'll do a little bit later in the settings. A lot of the screens have an info button on the bottom. This one's not super exciting. It says this is the main screen, but other ones are very interesting and have a lot of supporting details. And then everything else is going to be under this menu button. And I'll have one full page of menu stuff. If I scroll down, I'll have a second page of stuff. A lot of these are consumer-oriented screens that you'd be dealing with, right? Profiles are what temperatures and humidities you like. Schedules are obviously weekly and time of day schedules. Vacation mode's a temporary override if you want to go on vacation, or if you're lucky enough to go on vacation, rather. Operating status screen, you can click on that and see what your system's doing right now. Obviously right now it's off, but when things are running, it'll tell me how many stages are running, how far the gas valve is modulated open, what speed the fan's at, that sort of thing. My display preferences, which is just normal stuff. You want the screen to be brighter or darker, or go to sleep at night, those kind of things. Energy tracking, if you happen to have furnaces and ACs that can track their energy and report it back to the stat, which today we do, you can set that up. Time of day, that's self-explanatory. If you scroll down, I have set up for the Wi-Fi. I have my weather app on here. I can upload a screensaver photo if I want to. And then everything else that we're going to talk about for the purpose of this training series is going to be under the service button. So we'll continue that up on our next video. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us right now. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do. Subscribe to the channel and set it up to send you alerts, and then every time we put a new video out, you'll automatically get notified on your YouTube app about that. Thank you guys for your time.